finish with grabbing a coffee. Yeah, there we are. A big round of applause, please.
Okay, a second round of applause for you guys for showing up. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's important that we acknowledge this. When we were putting together this tour to come over here, I had some conversations with people about what what the questions are, what people are struggling with, and stress. I mean, everywhere in the world is a big deal. But I didn't know that you guys have a term called hitting the wall here. Yeah, yeah, hitting the wall. So it's important to recognize that just looking at techniques and technology to improve and to avoid hitting the wall is really important. Yeah, so thank you so much for showing up. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about us, what we do, and why we're here and doing this, just to give some context. Can everybody understand me all right? Okay, if I start speaking too quickly, let me know. You can just, Ray, slow down. So I have a global yoga and mind science school called the World Yoga Institute. And what I do is I travel around the world and I teach different courses from yoga certifications to immersions into energetic yoga, meditation. And this summer, I took a timeout. I took a break because I noticed that there was a problem happening with a lot of my students. So they would come, we would sit, we would get to a place where they're peaceful, there's no stress, they feel really good. And then they would leave. They would go out into the world and get cut off in traffic and get a phone call from their mother or their mother-in-law, and all of the results would disappear. The stress, the anxiety would come back. So I realized that as a teacher, I could get excellent results within a certain kind of container. Yeah, within a classroom container where I could control the space. They're not on their cell phones, there's no distractions. But something was really missing. Yeah, so if I take you to a place where you feel amazing and peaceful, but you go out into the world and those results are destroyed, this is kind of useless. Yeah? Because then you think that you can only have that feeling of peaceful clarity when you're in a certain container. And as a teacher, I realized that I did not have the necessary skill set to show my students how to be in their life, whether it's in their family life or in their professional life, or somewhere in between, to show them how to maintain that. So I did what I think is always a good idea. I went home and I cleaned my house. Yeah, I organized every closet because when you tour a lot, you're changing different clothes for different climates and things get a little messy. So I cleaned my house and I began looking for teachers that had that meditation and joy, but were in the world, that knew how to run companies. Hello, welcome, thank you, thank you. And my search led me to my partner, Mir Ezra, over back there. He's in the back of the room. Because what I'd done until that point is meet with lamas and swamis, essentially people that are renunciants, meaning that they're not in the world. So when I asked them, how do I give my students the technology to keep their clarity and peace in the world, they'd give me vague answers, and it usually involves sit and meditate more. Yeah. And I was like, well, that doesn't work. You need to become clear, meditative, joyous in every situation. So Mir, I had him work with me and really help me out with a lot of things. He kicked my ass, which is hard to do because I'm pretty intense. So thank you for that. And after we did work together, I said, can you solve this? Yeah? Can you solve this problem of taking meditation and mind science really out into the world? It took him about 2 minutes. And thus, causative meditation was born. So, causative meditation is like regular meditation, but with a couple of extra steps. It's designed for people that are in the world. Yeah, I run a global company. There's a lot of incoming data. There's a lot of decisions to make on a regular basis. And if I'm not in a good condition, every communication that I have is also not in a good condition. Yeah. I will put things off. Yeah. I'll respond and be like a little grumpy. Yeah. And if you're a little grumpy in your response and it goes to someone, even though you might really love them and care about them, they feel it. And so with all of my communications, I think it's really important to clean them up. And to do that, I have to clean inside. Does this make sense? Okay, smile at me a little bit because I get nervous. I'm still shy even after years of lecturing. So then I wanted to bring this to people and kind of see if this can really connect with people that are working in the world. So I called up a friend of mine who owns a yoga studio here, and I asked her, I love coming to Sweden, by the way. I love this country, like really, really love it. When I got off the plane, I'm just like this. I'm like, ooh. So I want an excuse to be here, and I'm really happy that I've found it. So what we did is we took this meditation technology, which is a 3 to 4 day course, and we decided the best way to bring it to people is to focus on a certain area. Okay? So I asked Jerica, what is the thing that people really are struggling with and they don't have answers for? And she said, stress. And I said, okay, that's everywhere, but why in Sweden is this? Why is that the thing that I should do? And that's when I found out about hitting the wall. Yeah. And I also found out that you guys have a real dialogue around how do you create this work-life balance. Is that correct? Yeah. It's a consideration. So we took this technology of causative meditation and we designed this 2-hour presentation to give you incredibly useful information that not just manages stress, but actually shows you how to remove it from your life. Does that sound good? Sounds a little bit unbelievable, huh? You're like, how do I remove stress? So part of preparing for this course was I did some research and I wanted to see what other people were presenting. And basically what I came across was do yoga and meditate. There was no specific answers there. And while doing yoga and meditating, it'll help a little bit in a way like it pushes the stress away from you. It doesn't actually solve the problem. So today we're going to actually solve that problem. Okay? And you guys are going to have some amazing takeaways. The first problem that I'm going to solve with you is we're going to work on what we call some postural correction. And I'm going to show you guys how to feel better while you're sitting at your computer. Do you guys work on computers a lot? I know I do. Like this. Yeah? And even though you may have a really good posture when you come in the morning, as you sit, as you sit, as you sit, yeah, this starts to happen. The head comes forward. You start to get that pain behind your shoulders and your neck. Anyone ever experienced that? No, Ray, never, never. So, stress and anxiety have a very specific body posture. Okay? They have a very specific shape that the bones sit in. Okay? When my students come up to me, yeah, and they come and they have a question, they come to me, and a lot of times they're in this posture. Before I talk to them, I will actually correct their, of course, we're very hands-on in my yoga profession. I actually correct their posture. Because when they start to communicate with me, if I just fix the way the bones are in space, the whole communication changes because their experience becomes just a little bit less charged. Does this make sense? All right. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips, and we're going to do what's called a preparatory pranayama, which means breathing. Yeah, we're preparing the lungs to breathe well. So when you're in this position, yes, your back hurts, but what's happening to your lungs is that you're taking the breath here into the upper part of the lungs instead of breathing using the diaphragm. Have you guys heard this word diaphragm before? Yeah. So it's basically a muscle that attaches along the rib cage and at the bottom of the rib cage in what we call the lumbar spine. This muscle is specifically designed for breathing. Okay? when you inhale, this muscle is supposed to push out and down. So if you watch. So when I inhale, do you see how broad this becomes? Trying to, can you guys see? Yeah. So this is supposed to push out and down. Now, because of culture and beauty standards, a lot of us, we want to have the very skinny waist, and so we actually breathe here into the lungs or the back body. Now, while this isn't wrong, it's really not efficient, and it creates a feeling of tension and anxiety. So just by correcting a few things, and these are tips that you can do while sitting at your desk throughout the day, and you're going to see you're going to feel amazing after you do it, you'll be breathing better, and you'll actually be a lot more effective. And then when you get the mind science technology that Mira's going to present, you'll receive it a little bit better. Okay? So very simple postural correction. Okay? Now I know you guys have heard, take your shoulders back and down, and you kind of struggle against your muscles, and it doesn't really work. Have you guys ever heard that? Shoulders back and down, and pretty quick they end up forward and round. Has anybody heard that? Yes? Yes? Okay, smile at me. I'm going to get all shy. Okay, so I'm going to give you a much more effective thing that works 100% of the time, all of the time, and is really great if you ever have business meetings. Yeah? Do you guys have business meetings? Do you ever have to walk in and negotiate and you're in kind of a weak position and you've heard that you should have, shining heart, radiant posture? This is how you do it. So take your right hand, and I want you to find the top of your chest, kind of just above the heart, and just begin tapping. So the reason why we're tapping this point is to get a physical sensation, yeah? So we can find the location a little bit higher, a little bit higher, little bit higher. You handsome one back here, a little bit higher. Thank you. He knew when I said handsome, he's like, oh, that's me. Okay, so just keep tapping for a second, just so you can feel that exact point. Good. Now, the next thing I want you to do is to imagine that there was a string tied to this point, and it was going straight up, kind of like a puppet master, and there's a string right here. And then all you do with this point, so here's our normal posture, is you lift it straight up. Okay? So what this does is it automatically, I'll do it on this side, so we're here, just going to take that point straight up. Okay? It automatically corrects the posture of your shoulders. But the other thing, because if you just take your shoulders back and down, what happens is that the bones still are compressed by gravity. So when you take this point, direction straight up, everything just comes into alignment like a dancer. And so now what you've done is not only correct this tension, but you've also created space that you can now take a deep breath. Making sense? Did you guys find it? Show me. I want to see. Okay, good. So next, what we're going to do is something that clears the lungs so that you can really breathe deeply. And this is something that's really fun to do if you're in a co-working space because it makes some sound. Yeah, and your neighbors will get inspired and they'll be like, oh, wait, she's doing something to breathe better. I'm encouraging you to be a little weird. So to do this, what you do is you inhale fully, filling your lungs with air, and then you hold the inhale, so no exhale. Okay? And when the inhale is fully held, watch what I do. Looks funny, feels great. Okay, looks funny, feels great, and we're going to do it together, so if you're shy, everyone else is doing it, so we all look silly together. Don't leave me alone up here, you guys. All right, you ready? First, correct your posture. Okay, make sure there's not too many things around you that you're going to knock over. Now, if you're sitting against something, come forward a little bit so that you can actually get the back body, yeah, because our lungs back here. This is going to clear stuff. You've had a cold recently. It helps to clear stuff out, but mostly you're going to feel really awake and alive without the caffeine. Okay? Already. All right, yeah, you might cough afterwards. We're going to get some stuff out. All right, smile. All right, ready? Inhale fully. Hold the inhale all the way around. with enthusiasm. That's the first round. So just notice the effect. How do you feel? Yeah, you feel a little bit, okay, I have lungs. You feel a little bit more alive. Okay, second round, we're going to use a different hand position. Ready? Inhale fully, hold the breath. Open palms. You feel the Zen happening already? So it's an awake Zen. All right. So for the third one, we're going to do something a little bit special. You're going to make tiger's claws with your hands like a martial artist, but you're also going to make the face. Yeah, because that brings your mood up, all right? So watch what I do. You're going to inhale fully. All the way around with your fingers. Wake up your lungs. Wake up the back body. You got this. How do you feel? Anybody? Good. What else? I feel good. What else? What else? Warm. Okay, relaxed. What else? Uplifted. More energy. So that whole process takes under 2 minutes. So it's a really nice way if you're sitting and working. Just remember, do it. You might freak out your coworkers a little bit, but you could also teach them because everybody has this same problem. So don't be afraid because the effect is powerful. The better you breathe, the more efficient your machine works. Okie dokie? All right, all right. So one more breathing technique I'm going to give you guys before I let Mir play with the slideshow. Okay? So you guys have heard the terms sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so we know that sympathetic is kind of that fight or flight response. So a lot of times, I used to work in Las Vegas and negotiate with the casinos. I had an event production company. And I'm a woman, and it was mostly men, but like those kind of macho men. And before the meetings, I would get a little bit nervous because it's going to be an intense negotiation. So here's a technique that shifts you from your sympathetic nervous system into your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, does that sound useful? Okay, good. So what you do is you count your inhale and you make the exhale twice as long. So if the inhale is 1, 2, 3, 4, then the exhale you count to 8. So we're going to do this together. And if you don't like 4, you can use 5 and 10. I don't mind. The ratio is what's important. Okay? So I want you to inhale on your own. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now exhale really slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second time, inhale. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice how you're starting to feel a little more relaxed. Third time, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice the effect. How do you guys feel? More aware, more present. What else? Calm. Yeah, calm is good. And of course, you can do more if you really got yourself wound up. But 3 usually changes it. Okie dokie. Are you guys ready for my teacher, Mir Ezra? The amazing Mir Ezra?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.